And we have this. So hope that you guys can see my screen, right? So we are just towards the last part of this game, and the last part of this game is that we need to now add enemies.
Four?
Yes, yes. Don't say something.
Sir,
Yes.
enemies are going to be the copies of the shooter, but they're going to be different, right?
Yes, they're going to be different. Yes, so we are going to first create a copy of the shooter, duplicate it. We will not have to draw it again and again, but you can make some changes into that. Like you don't want her to give them gun, fine. Maybe you can change their color so that they look different than the shooter. Okay, so let's make them red because enemies are like dangerous. So let's make them red, right? You can change the shade of the red like that, whichever you. That's fine. Now you can change their arm color also if you want. Let's make that red also. Make its head color, the outside outline color also as red. So this is fine. This is the enemy now. Okay, so now enemy is the same size as this one, but I can make it a little smaller. So select this whole picture by clicking on the select tool first and then dragging your mouse like that. And then just try to make it a little small. This has been made small now, right? It's smaller than the shooter. Good for us. So place it in the middle like that and then attach its arms just like this. Yes. So you have got the enemy now. Okay. So after getting one enemy, you need to program it how it will behave. So we'll go to its code and start telling it how it should behave. We don't want it to follow this thing. So let's remove all this. And also we don't want this to be starting at this point. We want it to be starting at a different point. So let's say that it starts uh, on the right side. Yes, something like here. So just place it somewhere that you want it to start. So its y-x position is 230, let's say. So it starts at x 230 and y should be random. So we'll say that it starts at x 230 and y should be a random value. Y random means that it can start from anywhere from here till here. So you go to operators, there is an operator which says pick random. You need to place it for the y position. At y position, when you say that it's going to pick a random value, you need to tell that how random you want it to be. So this is one value, 180. So you can keep it 160. And this is other value, you can also keep it minus 160. Always write the small value first. Minus values are always small. Okay, so minus 160 to 160. Now what would happen is this is going to have a different position every time the game starts. It is randomly starting anywhere at once. Fine, but its direction is wrong. It should be facing in the other direction towards it should be facing towards this shooter. So why don't we call it,
Minus 90 it will be.
instead of making minus 90, there is another block for us which says point towards. So you can ask it to points towards shooter instead of pointing in a certain direction. So now wherever it starts, it's always pointing towards shooter. See, it is always pointing towards shooter whenever the game starts. Okay, that sounds good. That feels good. Okay, so what should be the next? Now we need to see that how this shooter can move, how this enemy can move. So first let's name it enemy, and then we go how it moves. Now it can move obviously forever. but it needs to be slower than the enemy. So if I keep it move 10 steps, you can see that it's very fast. So why don't make it slower? So one thing is that it should start moving, and when it touches the wall, it should come back. So for that, we have this if on edge bounce, we will attach it here. So now that when it touches the wall, it comes back into the action and does not stay there, right? Working fine so far. But its
How
speed is
many
very
steps?
its speed is very fast. So we need to slower its speed. We can slower its speed by decreasing the number of steps, right? So make it 3 steps. If you think that 3 is very slow, make it 4. And now that is how it starts. But nothing is happening when you shoot it. Nothing is happening when this touches your character. So let's see. We need to program that also. First, get a variable because we want to see that how many zombies have we killed, how many enemies have we shot. So we get a variable by making it kills. Okay. So how many kills do we have? We need to make sure that every time this enemy gets a bullet, it gets killed. It gets, you can say, it should disappear from here.
Yeah.
So we can code it very easily. You need to go to the control block.
If it
Yes.
bullet touches it, then stop all or the hide.
If touching shooter, oh, it's not shooter, bullet, it should do something. It should actually do this again. It should start coming from the back like this. So now let's see if that works. You shoot it, it goes back. You shoot it, it goes back. But we need to keep a count of kills also. Okay, so you go to the variables, and in the variable section, you get this change variable and change it to kills. So if you shot the enemy correctly, it's going to change kills by 1. And obviously, when you start the game, it is going to set kills back to 0. Like this. 1 kill, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's a funny game actually. Oh, no. So you got 13 kills. Now when you press flag again, it goes back to 0. So you can start from the 0 again whenever you start the game from a new. Okay. So everything is working fine. Only thing is that look closely. What happens to the bullet if it touches if it kills the zombie? You see the bullet still flies till the end, right? Well, this should not happen. The bullet should disappear if it has killed a zombie, right? That is what the logic says. So if your bullet kills a zombie, it should disappear. Otherwise, you would be killing 2 zombies in 1 bullet sometimes. See, I just killed 2 with the same bullet. So this could be happening if your bullets are being fired this way. So you need to figure out that how can you make your bullet disappear if it touches the enemy. So you can go to the bullet and use this one. Same, nothing to change, just change it to the enemy. If it touches the enemy, you would delete this clone, but you would not delete this clone immediately. There is a problem in that.
Sir, can you show the enemy code?
Yes, I can, but just wait. See, if the bullet immediately deletes itself after touching the enemy does not get killed. So you have your enemy, can't actually kill your enemy if your bullet immediately deletes if it touches the enemy. So you need to add some wait time here. That wait time should be small, so make it 0.3. Actually, 0.2 is also fine. Let's run it again and now see. It kills. It gets killed. Zero point two also looks like very odd, so why don't make it 0 point? That is fine. That is fine. That sounds fine. Okay, so you have got the bullet fixed, you have got the enemy fixed, you have got the shooter fixed. The only thing now left is that what happens when the enemy touches the shooter. We don't lose the game. Actually, we should stop the game. So you go to the enemy and tell it that if touching shooter, you need to stop everything. So you go to control and you say stop all. Now this happens if they touch. Okay. So this is the code for all of these three parts: enemy, bullet, and shooter. Whichever code you want to see. If you want to see the enemy code, here it is. You can follow it. I have actually made recording of that as well. I will be sharing that recording with you. Okay. Do you guys want to copy this code?